Hello everyone. Happy to know that all are watching the videos very interestingly and keenly. So please do watch, keep learning dear ones. So wishing you all a peaceful and grace-filled day ahead. So we are in the chapter 2, that is biological classification. We have come across the system of classification, the modern system of classification, the need of classification, the history behind the classification. All these things we have come across. Then in the next session we have learned Kingdom Monera, its special features, Kingdom Protista, its special features and its examples we have come across. Today I will be giving you a detailed description about Kingdom Fungi. So here you can see here the images of Kingdom Fungi, that which comes under 5 kingdom classification. So who has proposed this 5 kingdom classification? That is R.H. Whittaker in 1969. Very important children. Usually it comes for the competitive exams as well as the one word question it may come. So 5 kingdom classification is being proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. Very important. So what are the 5 kingdoms? Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, Kingdom Animalia. So Monera comes under unicellular prokaryotes, Protista unicellular eukaryotes, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia under multicellular eukaryotes. So whenever we hear about the Kingdom Fungi, we have an image, clear image of fungi in this way, isn't it? So you might have seen this kind of fungi all around you. So now let's see the important features of Kingdom Fungi. What are the important features of Kingdom Fungi? We will see in details. So the important points here. So the study of fungi is termed as mycology. Study of fungi is termed as mycology. That also usually come for the one word examination as well as the competitive examination. Very important children, go through it. Then cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Cell wall is made up of chitin as well as polysaccharides. So it is said that chitin is resistant towards the microbial attacks than the cellulose present in the cell walls of green plants. Then another special feature is that heterotrophic organisms, they cannot prepare food by themselves. They are not able to prepare food by themselves. The next one important point is that presence of cell wall and heterotrophic mode of nutrition are the two important criteria that this kingdom, it comes under a separate kingdom, Kingdom Fungi. Otherwise it would have come in Kingdom Plantae. Coming to the morphology, habitat are so diverse. Habitat means the place where they are dwelling, the place where the organisms or the plants are dwelling. Diverse means variety, various places. Then fungi are cosmopolitan. That means found everywhere. It is said that even in the freezing climate of Antarctica also it is being found. Usually they prefer to grow in warm as well as humid areas, humid places. So once again, let us revise the important point, dear ones. Study of the fungi is termed as study of fungi is termed as mycology. We are learning the important features of Kingdom Fungi. The first point that which we have learned was cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. They are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition, means depending upon others. So we have learned the differences between autotrophic as well as the heterotrophic. Autotrophic, they prepare their own food, while heterotrophic depend upon others. Presence of cell wall and heterotrophic mode of nutrition are the two important criteria that this comes under a separate kingdom, Kingdom Fungi. Otherwise it would have come under Kingdom Plantae. The next important feature that which we have learned was morphology, and habitat are so diverse. Then the fungi are cosmopolitan, that means found everywhere. As I have told, even in the freezing climates of Antarctica it is being found. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. So moving to next, even though Kingdom Fungi is generally considered to have multicellular eukaryotes, some we can say that it is unicellular. So let's see the examples of unicellular fungi. So unicellular fungi are yeast. Okay, yeast is termed as unicellular. So rest all comes under multicellular. As I have told you, though the fungi are being considered as multicellular, some organisms comes under unicellular. They are yeast. So yeast is otherwise known as baker's yeast. The scientific name of yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So usually it is used to make bread and beer. So what are the uses of yeast? Means to make bread and beer. So what happens? This yeast will be converting the carbohydrates and sugars to ethanol and carbon dioxide and ethanol due to the fermentation process. So the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae will be converting the yeast, the carbohydrates and sugars to carbon dioxide and ethanol. So here what is happening? The carbon dioxide will be forming bubbles inside the dough, and as a result the dough will rise, and when we bake this dough, air bubbles and the yeast will die, and you can see the air pockets set in the bread. You might have seen. See, you can see here as shown in the image. So this yeast will be giving a spongy and soft texture to the bread. Hope it is clear to you. Now let us see, once again revise the important points. As I have told you, kingdom fungi comes under multicellular, but there are some organisms that which comes under unicellular. They are yeast. What is the what are the uses of yeast? They are used to make bread and beer. So as I have told, the scientific name of yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So this Saccharomyces cerevisiae will be converting carbohydrates and sugars due to the fermentation process into carbon dioxide and ethanol. As I have told you, carbon dioxide will be forming bubbles inside the dough, and as a result this dough will rise, and when we bake this dough, the air bubbles and the yeast will die and the air pockets will be raised in this way. As you see in the image, this will be giving the bread soft and spongy texture. Now let's say some fungi are pathogenic, causing diseases in plants and animals. So let us see it in detail here. So as I have told you, some fungi causes diseases in plants and animals. So wheat rust in Puccinia triticana, that is the causative agent. So wheat rust, you can see here this kind of wheat you might have seen in your field and all, this kind of wheat rust. Have you seen? Okay, then the next disease is white leaf spot on mustard. That is mustard plant. You can see this type of white spots. Have you seen this kind of white spots in your field? Yeah, the causative agent for that is Pseudocercosporella capsule. Then some are the important sources of antibiotics. We can say example penicillin, important source of antibiotic. Hope now it is clear to you. Now moving to the next. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928. So, have you heard the story and discovery behind the penicillin? So, let us hear. So, it is said that it was an accidental discovery. So, one day, what happened? Fleming was taking petri dishes containing pathogens, that which is containing Staphylococcus bacteria, that is the causative agent for the sore throats. So he saw some of these places, see in these petri dishes, he saw some of the places are contaminated with the fungus. First, he was not happy about it, but soon he noted that particular area surrounding fungi, you can see here fungus was clear, particular area surrounding fungus was clear, meaning there was no bacterial growth on them. Then he understood the fungus was keeping a substance which cleared the bacteria, and later it was identified as Penicillium notatum, the source of penicillium. So dear students, have a keen eye on things around you. And one day you could become a discoverer like Alexander Fleming, and you can bring a positive change to the human society. So moving to the next one. Now back to the kingdom fungi. Fungi except yeast are having the filamentous structure. This long thread-like structure is termed as hyphae. And hyphae is the plural form and hyphae is the singular form. The network of hyphae is termed as mycelium. It is said that within 24 hours, an individual fungi produces more than a kilometer of mycelium. So you can see here the mycelium. Once again, we will go through it. So as I have told you, these are having filamentous long thread-like structure that is termed as hyphae, and the network of hyphae is termed as mycelium. This is what is mycelium known as. Clear? Now you may not be happy with the images that which you've seen here. So now let's see. Are you happy now? So this may be the image that which comes into your mind. So fruiting body you can see here. These are the fruiting body and the mycelium here. So we can compare the fruiting body to the tip of iceberg. So you can see here the tip of the iceberg. See here, it is a small mass of ice seen in the upper area, but underneath the water you can see the huge mass of ice. So in the same way, the fruiting body is smaller comparing to the mycelium. So here it forms a network of hyphae that is termed as mycelium. Clear? So moving to the next one, next important point. So based on hyphae with close walls and hyphae without close walls. So they are termed as cenocytic hyphae and septate hyphae. So you can see here the close walls. Can you see? So since the close walls are present, it is termed as septate, and there is no close walls here in the cenocytic hyphae. So now based on the mode of nutrition. So based on mode of nutrition, it is divided into saprophytic, parasitic and symbiotic. Saprophytic means depending upon the dead organic matters. Parasitic means living on other plant organisms and animals. Symbiotic means they will be having a mutual benefit. Next, moving to the symbiotic association of fungi and algae, it will be forming a lichen. These lichens are growing on the trees or on the walls or on the rocks, you might have seen. So here mycobiont. Myco refers to fungus and biont refers to organisms. So usually fungi are providing shelter to the algae. So it absorbs minerals and nutrients for the algae. In return to that, algae will be preparing food for the fungi. So as a rent charge, this will be providing shelter, and algae will be preparing food for the fungi. And if you see more lichens in your campus, in the atmosphere where you live, be happy. Why? Because you will be having a clean air there. Then the fungi and roots of higher trees, due to the association of this, it will be forming mycorrhiza. You can see here the mycorrhiza. So these are mycorrhiza. Myco means fungus, rhizo means roots. So fungi will be absorbing water and mineral nutrients. So it will be improving the plant's mineral and absorption capabilities. So in that case, trees will be supplying food for the fungi since it is providing minerals and nutrients. So here you can see as I have told you, this is mycorrhiza. If you see pines and all with a stunted growth, that means these pines will not be having mycorrhiza. If mycorrhiza is having the capability of absorbing the nutrients. Okay. So in return to that, trees will be providing the food. So actually it is a little for just for a little bit of food, poor fungi is doing all these kind of things. So let's move towards the reproduction part in fungi. So the reproduction part of fungi is taking place through vegetative method. Okay, so vegetative reproduction, and this vegetative reproduction undergoes three methods. They are fragmentation, fission and budding. As you can see here in the image, fragmentation. See, the hyphae will be breaking into pieces and it will be developing into a new individual. Fission, as you can see here, fission meaning splitting. Okay, so mother cell will be dividing into two cells. They are daughter cells. Okay, so from the mother cell will be splitting into two equal cells. Then here budding. Budding, what happens? Parent cell, from the parent cell, it usually budding occurs in yeast. From the parent cell, a new organism is being developed. A new organism is being developed. It usually occurs in yeast. Budding occurs in yeast. So hope it is clear. Once again, we will go through it. Reproduction in fungi is taking place through vegetative reproduction. They undergoes three methods: fragmentation, fission and budding. Next, asexual reproduction, asexual spores. So conidium, sporangiospore and zoospores. Conidium is the singular form and conidia is the singular form and conidium is the plural form. And you can see here zoospores. The zoospores, they are motile due to the presence of flagella here. Then sexual reproduction taking place through sexual spore. They are basidiospores, ascospores and oospores. So spores are produced in fruiting bodies. You can see here spores are produced in fruiting bodies. So that's all for you today. Please keep learning, dear ones. Learn properly. Keep watching. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.